Now here's your host, Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage.
Oh, yeah!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports and Metal Podcast. We are your hosts, as always. This is Aaron Savage. With me, as always, my partner in crime, right over there, Mr. Jason Voorhees. And, tonight we have. What's up, Jay? How are you? We have a very special guest tonight. Before we bring them out, I want to just give a shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, La Terrain Watches. Make sure you visit their website, www.laterrain.com. That's LA-TOURAINE.com. You're going to want to use promo code SNM at checkout. That's the letters SNM as in sports and metal. And you're going to save 10% off your purchase. Also, I want to give a big shout out to our newest sponsor, BetUS. Use our affiliate link, which you could see right here below me. Use that affiliate link, BetUS. You're going to get 125% bonus plus free bets on your first $100 deposit. So without further ado, like I said, we have a very special guest tonight, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least mention the losses we've suffered this past week in the rock and roll and metal world. And they always say things come in threes, and it seems to be the case this week. First, we lost Jeff Beck at the ripe old age of 78 years old. Guitar legend, one of the most influential players in the genre. Rock, blues, metal guitarists across the board influenced by Jeff Beck. Jeff started out in the Yardbirds. Then he had the Jeff Beck Group, which had, introduced the world to Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood. In the 80s, Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck crossed paths again. They recorded a track. Why am I drawing a blank on the name of that track? What was that track called, Jay? People Get Ready. And it ended up being that track was buried, and it was released 2 years later. They recorded that in 1983. Rod Stewart bumped into Jeff Beck on the streets in L.A., and they said, they hadn't seen each other in years since like the late 60s. And they said, why don't we get in the studio for a day? Jeff Beck had a bunch of demos. He didn't think anything would work with Rod's vocals. And he was hanging out one day, came up with that. They did a cover of it. I think Miles Davis did that originally. It was shelved until it was released on Jeff Beck's album in 1985. So like I said, Jeff Beck, Duff McKagan played with Jeff Beck he just did Ozzy's record, Ordinary Man, the new one. But he's all over the place, Jeff Beck. It's a big loss. Then we lost Lisa Marie Presley. Obviously, she's not metal, but she's Elvis's daughter. We have to mention her. Unbelievable. 54 years old, tragic loss, way too young. And then I just saw today, I got news that we lost Bachman Turner Overdrive drummer Robbie Bachman. He died. I think he was in his 70s. But so rest in peace to them. But now let's get on a little more positive vibe here, Jay. I know you're excited for this guest.
Very excited.
Yep. So we have a very special guest. Like I said, we're going to bring him out right now. Please welcome to the show, Hail Sagan. What's up, guys?
Hey!
Hi, what's
How's
up?
it going?
Not much, man. How are you?
Doing good.
Pretty good.
Just
Good.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We're super happy to have you guys on the show.
Well, we're happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we get started, I'm going to tell the audience a little bit about you guys. Hail Sagan is an active rock metal music project out of Los Angeles. I know before we went live, you guys told us you're now based in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. We have to update everything.
So you're Sagan Amory, the powerhouse vocalist of the project, and on guitars, ESP guitarist Nick Quijano. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Quijano, yep.
Quijano, okay.
Yep.
Formerly of Powerman 5000. I know you did their 2014 record.
Yes, Raiders of the Future.
Yep. You co-wrote a lot of that album, produced it, played some kick-ass guitar on it. So Hail Sagan, like I said, they're an awesome band. Their stage show features state-of-the-art electronics, interactive surprises for the audience that include bubbles, balloons, lasers. Their hit Doors Will Open was featured on the Demolition Derby themed racing video game Wreckfest, which can be played on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. Both Sagan and Nick have an extensive background in music. They seamlessly fuse many genres. I know Jay and I are new to you guys. I'm so glad you guys reached out to us because we're super fans already.
Well, I think we were already following you guys on one of my accounts. We have a bunch of different accounts, and I saw something that went by about sports and metal, and I'm like, oh yeah, sports and metal. I was like, I like sports and metal.
I mean, can't go wrong.
No,
here we are.
It's the best combination that anyone ever thought of. You guys did a good job with that.
Thank you. We appreciate it. I mean, you guys talk about fusing all these different genres. I mean, Jay and I have been talking all week. I mean, we hear industrial, we hear some pop. Hate or Bait, you know, sounds like it could be Methods of Mayhem, you know. Tommy Lee, 1998. I mean, we're hearing all kinds of influences here.
Yeah, Hate or Beat was like an influence from like my old school music days of punk rock and hardcore from the New York tri-state area where I grew up. You can if you can ever listen to that kind of music, you'll definitely hear where that came from for sure.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling Aaron, like, obviously, you know, there's a ton of genres, but I definitely I see Nine Inch Nails. I see Marilyn Manson, huge Marilyn Manson fan here. I love Marilyn Manson. I don't think he gets the credit that as an artist. I know a lot of people, you know, just look at him as like this pop figure, but like just the stuff that he does and the style that you guys have, it just kind of right away I was like, oh my God, it's Marilyn Manson, it's Nine Inch Nails, it's definitely Fear Factory. But I also see a lot of, you know, the new metal kind of stuff in your music as well. Just like Aaron said, I had never like really listened. I think I heard one of your songs before. I went back and I did a deep dive and like I'm hooked on it. You guys,
thank you.
We're definitely big fans now for sure.
Awesome. Yeah,
that's a blessing. No, really great. And everything you said, those bands that you all said, those are pretty much our influences.
Yep.
Especially Nine Inch Nails. Nick and I are huge Trent Reznor fans.
Yeah, we love Nine Inch Nails.
We are like bowing down, you know, to Trent Reznor. So I like that you can hear that because we talk about our influences and we always wonder, does anyone hear, you know, what we feel about it? Does that can you hear that? Does that convey that sound through? Like, are other people catching that, you know? That's cool.
I mean, I hope so because, you know, I think the word I used with Aaron earlier when we were talking about, you know, because we always prep for the show and I said, Aaron, this music is like hypnotic. Like, I feel like I'm in a trance when I listen to it. And
I agree.
I'm also like, you know, I think, you know, the fact that, you know, both of you guys, you know, have like brought just a different, you know, perspective to it and the music just kind of meshes and like, I don't know, like I can't wait to see you guys live.
Yeah, we have fun live. We've always had a good time at our shows. We tried to make the shows interactive because Nick and I were talking about, because we're music fans, you know, and we talked about like, what do we like about a show that we've been to, and what do we don't like when we were putting together our stage plan and everything. And I was like, for me, I think that like the most important thing was to not feel bored. Because there's been times that, you know, you go to a show and just kind of, and it's fun, you're listening to music, but sometimes you just kind of like, I want to see something different. And as someone who's been to like 15 or 16 GWAR shows, I think it is that I've been to, I was like way up front, like splashing in my face, you know, I love it. And I was like, well, we're not going to do that, but I want to do something that is at least interactive where the people can walk away and go, wow, I really enjoyed that. I want to do that again. And then Nick had a lot of background with that with Power Man, so he'll tell you about it.
Yeah, so we incorporate a lot of stuff. We're like the only band doing bubbles on stage at the time. Yeah. And so, yeah, we
balloons.
We basically did as much stage lighting and crazy stuff as we could. So you walk away with fake snow in your hair, sticky from bubbles.
Yeah, just remembering it's almost like it has a visceral effect. It's like you're not just hearing music, you're also feeling everything. Like there's something that you can take home with you. It's a part. Because I always felt that way about like shows like GWAR and other interactive shows where you can, you know, or when someone's, I guess, spouting out like confetti, you can bring some of it home. You know, it's kind of cool.
It's like Starbucks. You're creating the experience, not just
experience. Yes.
Because as a music fan, you know what you like. So if you can bring that to the table when you're creating, it's really cool. It gives you another way of like kind of handling it, as opposed to just being like, well, I'm just making something. I don't really know. It was kind of fun for us to collaborate in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So how did the collaboration start? Tell us. How did you guys? Sagan, you mentioned you were from the East Coast.
Yeah.
What brought you out west? How did the project commence? Give us a little bit of background about all this.
So I moved to Los Angeles a few years after he did. And I don't know if you've ever been to LA, but it's really big. Like it's hard to
have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like really big. And there's this weird thing about people that live there. Like if you live on the other side of town, they won't be your friend because it's too far. And the traffic is like 4 hours if you go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a joke. Like if you're on the west side and I'm over in South Hollywood or something, or North Hollywood rather, then I'm not coming to see you because you're too far. And we could either meet halfway or just not be friends because this isn't going to happen, right? Or I'll see you at the club or something, Well, we had hit each other up online, and he was like, oh, let's like meet, somewhere. So it turned out we were 2 blocks away.
Yeah, we lived like 2 blocks away from each other.
That's not like serendipitous. I don't know what is, And he was like, he's in Power Man. He's getting ready to go out on a month-long tour with them. He's like, because I was working with some other people, and he was like, I want to write a song for you, and let's for you to sing, and I want to see let's see what happens, So I was like, at first I was kind of busy with a bunch of things, and he had to force me to do it because I was just like, fucking off. Am I allowed to say fuck?
You can say whatever you want. We're not FCC regulated here.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Beauties of the web.
Less regulation, better. I like to say fuck. I try not to too much, but sometimes it comes out. But yeah, I was fucking off. I was just doing my own thing. I had other stuff. And he was just he's like, check this out. And he wrote this really cool riff, and he sent it to me. And I was like, wow, that's really good. People would send me music, and it wasn't always something that spoke to me, So I was like, all right, you've convinced me. Let's do something. So we went into the studio and we recorded Dark Cloud,
which I love.
My favorite song.
Yeah.
Nice.
and it was funny because when we started working on it, I was like, what should I write this about? And then I was dealing with someone who had been bullying me. I had somehow always dealt with bullies in my life, but this person was relentless. I had to keep blocking them. They kept threatening. It was ridiculous. And I was just like, I'm just going to write about what's happening to me right now. This is how it was almost like a cathartic, I'm going to just write this out and I'm going to make it work in this song. And Nick was just sitting there and I was like, this is how I feel right now about this situation. And then we just sat down and made it work. I don't know. It just worked.
Put it together.
It
That's
just
awesome.
happened. And then we wanted to make a video and everyone was like, oh, your ideas are too grandiose. You'll never pull it off in LA. And I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. That's it. That's how I function in life. If it's supposed to happen, it'll happen. And if not, oh well. So Nick and I started casting and got people to come out and want to be in the video. We just put a casting call out. Whoever showed up was in it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So you guys released your first EP in 2017, the self-titled EP, correct?
Yeah, 2016. I think it was in October 2016. And okay. I know that Google says 2017. I don't know where they got that information from. I've tried to fix it. They don't want to hear it. I can't do anything about it. Okay. I think the EP was kind of like us showcasing, what can we do? Let's play around with the sound. So if you listen to all the different songs, it's they're all a little different. We hadn't really found our sound yet, I think.
100%. And I see that. For example, Alternate, I'm guessing that was released as a one-off single.
Now that Alternate is about an alternate universe. I started writing that in the middle of the night one night. I got up at 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I went into the studio, jumped on the dial, and was just I'm going to try to remember how to use this thing. I hadn't done it in a while. I started, the actual vocal recording on that is me playing around. Nick kept it.
Yep.
Sometimes the best songs are written that way. And it's funny you say that was written in the middle of the night, because I was going to describe the track as ethereal.
Yeah, it was me not being, that was insomnia. And it was
it has a real dreamy sound to it, that song.
Something told me to get up and write this night. And so when I'm hum, 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 that's just me kind of just I'm kind of just putting noise out there just to, because I was messing with the sounds. And then Nick was like, check this out. He had played with it when I was sleeping. And
she went to bed and then I turned it into a song.
And I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, should we re-record those? I wasn't really like singing. I'm not singing. Like, that's just me messing. That whole thing's me messing around. Like, he goes, nah, it sounds perfect. I was like, really?
Yeah.
You know,
all we did was we wrote a chorus and then it was done.
And that was it. And I was like, all right. And then we knew it was very different from the other stuff we had released. But to me, I looked at it more as like a ballad or a love song kind of. Like, you know, every metal band has like that one song that's like super chill. Even Slipknot did that. What was the song? I'm not going to be able to remember.
Wait and Bleed.
No. It was a slow. No, it was like.
I remember Corey Taylor, his first solo from Spider-Man, the solo track.
Do you remember? It was like, I think it was like about 8 or 10 years ago. It was like.
I'm drawing a blank. But
I don't know the name.
Corey does everything.
I'm sorry, Corey. I still love you. I just really can't remember the name of the song. It's going to come to me when we're done, by the way. I'm going to blur it out. I'm going to blur it. A really beautiful, slow Slipknot song, probably 8 or 10 years ago. I'm really not sure. Maybe it was like 2010, 2000. I don't know. Anyway, the point is
on
that
the All Hope Is Gone album, and I think you're talking about the track Snuff, maybe? Or
yes, it's Snuff. What a absolutely gorgeous, beautiful song. But how do you go from like, you know, Wait and Bleed to that? And it's just so seamless. Like, it was just, I thought it was just so cool that they did like it's not quite a love song, actually. It's kind of disturbing. And I think it's about unrequited love or a broken heart. But anyway, the point is that it is kind of like a love song, and it's just nice. And they're not screaming, or it's not like crazy metal. It's just a nice chill song. And I think Alternate is like our Snuff. You know, it's kind of like.
They not to cut you off, but they actually have a brand new album out, and they have a track on that record that's kind of like, it blows you away because it's like,
yeah, I have to check that out because.
So I get what you're saying. Like it's kind of like almost like a shock to the system.
Well, it's almost like it shows the dynamics like behind a band that doesn't have to stick to like, you don't get pigeonholed or stick to like a schedule of, well, this is what we're going to keep doing over and over again. It's almost like it shows
things fresh.
Yeah.
It's boring to do the same song over and over again.
And 9 Inch Nails did it. You got like from Head Like a Hole to Hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think that we felt okay doing it. You know, and a lot of people had a positive response. I know it's not as popular as Doors Will Open, but that's okay because I still think it serves a value. People are still actively listening to it. I get a notification that says people are listening to your songs, which blows my mind. And I'm like, oh, you know, they're listening to Alternate. Cool. I wonder what they're doing. You know, are they just sitting down into the stars, just like, you know, looking for UFOs?
It's possibly my favorite song by you guys. It's right there.
I love it. Like it's touching, really. And honestly, you know, you guys talked about your influences as a band as a whole. Sagan, I'm curious, as a female vocalist, who did you idolize growing up? Like who do you try to model your sound and your style, because you have a unique range?
Yeah, so I have like 5 different singing voices, which we always laugh about, because sometimes they'll come out and Nick will look at me in the studio and be like, where's that one from? You know, my voice is really dynamic in the sense of I can scream, I can sing really light, I can sing like I can belt like I'm in church, you know, like I have this like dynamic range, and over the years I've really cultivated it and worked really hard to perfect it. I would say I am all over the board. And I'm going to draw a huge blank and I'm not going to remember, but one of my favorite female vocalists actually is Björk.
Okay.
From Iceland. Okay.
I wouldn't have expected that, but yeah.
I don't sound anything like her, but she's an inspiration to me though.
Sure.
And
our influences are nothing like the music that we write, by the way.
Like, well, for instance, like one of my vocal influences is Peter Steele from Typo Negative.
I'm a huge Typo guy. Yeah. I'm a huge Typo fan.
That was something that drew us together, by the way, when we asked each other, like, what's your favorite band? Like, your favorite metal band? Like, heavy? Like, I was like, Typo Negative. He's like, oh, my God, me too. And actually, if you listen to Stealing the Crown, that's actually, okay, so if you listen, there's like,
in the bridge of the song,
there's crickets.
We put crickets in there.
So they did birds, like in, what was it? Was it Christian Woman or?
Christian Woman on the bridge part. The slow part, you hear the birds chirp.
Yeah, so that was kind of an homage to.
You like to love.
Yeah.
God. Sorry.
Yeah, so the bridge of that song is essentially a typo negative bridge, but with crickets instead of birds.
You got that song right now. Yeah, so and if you hear that song, "Stealing the Crown," it has some, it's not as well the long term, like the long version of Christian Woman Goes On Forever. I love the long version.
That's to me the only version.
Yeah, I don't listen to the radio edit. I'm like, no, I want the whole thing. I want the whole like breakdown and starts to, and with Stealing the Crown, we didn't have the ability to make the song that long, but you could hear some of those transitions in there where it goes from like soft to heavy. And the song actually initially had screaming. We ended up removing the screaming. I don't know if that was good or bad, but there was, in our inner team, we had a kind of a battle with screaming versus singing. We had people that we were working with that didn't want me to scream at all. And then there was people that, were like, oh, you should emphasize. I kind of felt torn sometimes so we kind of just tried to mix it up a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about this. Well, before we go on, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to ask you, Nick, what are your biggest influences as a guitar player?
As a guitar player?
Yeah, and as a musician in general.
Well, I would have to say definitely 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor, he's an underrated guitar player. The Cure, I have a big influence with The Cure. Who else? Dimebag Darrell. He was a big.
I saw your social media post when you were at Dime's grave.
He's a huge fan, and we went there. We were on tour down there, and we got to stop by, and that was really nice. And to go and pay our respects.
Yeah.
And what's really awesome is his brother Vinnie Paul had discovered us on YouTube, which was mind blowing to me. And I'm like, how do you because when you put this stuff out, you don't really know who's looking at it. And the people that have contacted us from the music industry, it's always like super flattering, but also just mind blowing is the best way to describe it because I can't believe it, And he one day, we're gonna headline a show in Las Vegas, and everyone's going, "There's Vinnie Paul in the audience," and I'm like, "Oh, please don't tell me this right before I go on stage. I already have enough stage fright, And apparently, and I just thought he stumbled in there, because people stumble into shows all the time in Las Vegas. They just see a show's going on. He's a music fan, and I just thought he happened to find his way in, and it was like, no, he came to see Sagan, and I went, ugh.
That's awesome.
I was like, what? How? How? And Nick was just like, oh my God. And then he watched the entirety of our show. We were the headliners, so he stayed the whole time.
That is amazing.
And he waited to the very end, and then he sent a messenger to tell us that he wanted us to meet with him after the show. So we met with him at a casino bar, had a cover band thing going on where he liked to hang out. And
we spent the whole night jamming out to cover tunes with Vinnie Paul and his crew.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And he pulled us aside and he asked me, he goes, so I hear you guys produce your own stuff. I was like, pretty much, yeah. He goes, you made that video, Doors Open? I'm like, yeah, we made it ourselves, just us two. We were passing the camera back and forth. He was like, I can't believe it. And he was just so floored that it was just the two of us that were doing so much. And he was just so, I guess, impressed by us, which was impressive. I was impressed, I was just sitting there, I know, you're the good one. I don't know anything.
One of the best musicians to walk the face of the earth.
I'm like, I don't know anything. No, I want to praise you. Stop. Let me get down and praise you, And he was just so sweet. And
the Abbotts were very nice guys.
Really wonderful human beings. And then we were talking a little bit about possibly opening for them on a tour. And
oh wow, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, and then we were on stage in New Jersey, and we played a really great show. And as soon as I stepped off the stage, someone ran up and said he had passed away, and I was just like, "What?"
Oh,
the nicest human being I've ever met in the music industry, and we were both just really sad. And
that's a bummer.
Or even just about
the whole world was sad because everybody has a story of hanging out with Vinnie or Dime.
Yeah.
And they were always such awesome guys.
Really likable people, and it was really sad. So
everybody was their family.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. If I may just add to Vinny's point, though, it is super amazing and impressive that you guys, self-produce all the stuff, the videos, the music. I mean, it really is a credit to you. I mean, the videos are freaking. The music is obviously awesome, but the videos too. I mean, are something to behold. I mean, everybody get on YouTube and check out Sagan and check out all their videos. Unbelievable. The production value is insane.
Different in every one of them.
Yeah, we try to do something different, Nick, so people aren't. I think my biggest thing is I don't want anyone to ever feel bored, because I can get bored really easily. So I just try to make it so if it doesn't bore me, I'm hoping it doesn't bore you. That's how I think. Isn't that what we do? We kind of like, and one of the other things we always do is after we write our music, we go into our car and we play it in there, we blast it, and we're just sitting there like, is this something we would fucking listen to if we were going somewhere? You know what I mean?
What better test is there? Yeah.
Absolutely. And if I say I wouldn't listen to this, then it doesn't get released. Because it's just like, if I go, I don't think this is like listenable, or I don't think anyone would like this. We'll try to make it better or whatever. But we're pretty good with like infusing that perspective.
That's the good thing about doing everything ourselves, though, is that we can spend the time to make it right.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's true.
And we enjoy, Nick and I are both artists, like not just music, but he and I both, we draw, we paint, we create. And when we make the videos, we apply a lot of our art perspective into it. And when you watch Stealing the Crown, we're up in the snow in the mountains. I hand sewed that cape I'm wearing. Like I created everything. I was gluing things together.
We do everything in those
we
videos.
We make the set design.
That's amazing.
So we're always like building on our stage. We always build like something. He's building stage show stuff all the time. Like when we were living in Hollywood, we had an apartment and we'd be in the parking lot with like, he'd have like a saw out there. And there'd be like dust flying, and the landlord would be like, "Why are you cutting stuff in the?
You're not supposed to be doing construction.
What are you doing in the parking lot with this stuff?" And we'd be like dust flying and stuff building in a parking lot. It was really funny. Yeah,
that's cool. Well, we've talked so much about your past material. Why don't we talk about what's going on with you guys now?
We're so excited.
You guys have an EP coming out. It's called Disclosure.
Yep.
Yes.
When should the fans expect it?
Okay, so the first song is going to be released in 2 weeks on the 27th of January.
There it is.
Right there.
Everybody can pre-save the single alongside their own.
Yeah.
It's going to be out on Spotify January 27th. I have that correct?
It'll be on everything. So we're premiering on 94.1 FM JJO out of Madison, Wisconsin, which is the hardest rock and metal station in the Midwest. And then it'll be on Spotify, on every major streaming platform. You can get it on. So Apple Music, Amazon, whatever, whatever's out there. And then in a few days after or a week after, we haven't really decided yet, but a few days or a week after, we're going to drop the video. We made a video. Awesome. It's a really fun, interactive lyric video. So we're in the video, but there's like lyrics going and all this stuff happening to go along with the song. And we're really, really stoked about it.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about what the rest of the EP is going to be like. What's the sound? Is the sound going to be different than what we've come to expect from the band? Tell us about it.
So Nick and I produced it ourselves. We didn't have an outside producer.
Yep. So the first round of music where we did everything ourselves.
Like literally all the instruments. We played guitar.
Produced it.
We both played guitar. I sang. He didn't sing on this one, although he did backup sing.
There's a couple little backup
spots. Oh yeah, he did do a couple backup spots. He does some of the backup stuff and then what else did we we did have it mixed and mastered outside though. We had Sight Glass Sound in Kentucky.
They did the mix and master on the stuff. So
Cole Clark. He mixed and mastered it, and it came out really nice.
Yeah,
we're really happy.
I think it's our best work.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't wait to hear it.
And it's like an amalgamation of like everything we've ever done.
And when does the full EP drop?
Okay, so we're doing it a little differently this time. We're going to slow drip it for you guys.
Okay.
So that you don't miss anything. So
that's become the way. I mean, bands are doing that across the board now.
New music model now.
It's the normal way to do it, but we're going to have another track dropping in March. So it's going to be every 6 weeks. And each song is going to come with a video, so you get a video for everything. Disclosure is going to tell a story. So every track has something to add to the story.
It's a concept album.
So I was just gonna say, would you call it a concept album?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why we did lyric videos is so you can hear, because I know sometimes people ask us like, what are your lyrics? Because we don't really have them all the time everywhere, and it's hard to, hear what I'm saying when I'm screaming. So the lyrics are going to be there. It's going to help tell the story. You can keep up with the story. Disclosure kind of speaks for itself, I think. Maybe you guys get a hint from it. I don't know. I've been kind of dropping breadcrumbs for a while online.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's gonna be very autobiographical.
I think it's more about it's autobiographical for humans.
Okay.
So it has to do with a lot of I have a lot of spirituality in my life. I'm very in touch with, I meditate 20 to 30 minutes a day in silence every day for the last 2 years. I run a meditation group. It's small. It's on Facebook. It's only got about 400 or so followers, but we have a close-knit kind of community, and I post in there after certain meditations where I feel like I'm inspired to share something I've learned. And something that I have had a hobby with for a really long time, most of my life, I'd say, is I like stargazing, just being out and looking up. Sure. And now that we're really close to the 37th parallel in the weird zone,
it's definitely the weird zone out
in
here.
The desert, we've seen a lot of really interesting things up in the sky that have made us question a lot of stuff. And there's just a lot of things that are unknown about reality. I'm incredibly in tune with quantum physics. I will monologue on it, so don't ask too many questions.
We're interested. We're listening.
Just like our who we are, why we're here, what our purpose is, what we're doing, all that kind of stuff is a big part of my life, and I wanted to incorporate it into this EP. And Nick also follows that stuff, not to the extreme that I do, but he's very aware in that sense. And so when we talked about doing this, it was like, yeah, this would be really cool. Let's talk about some of the cool stuff that we're into and mesh it with kind of some of that other stuff. And it's a good time because I think people are coming out of a thing where everyone's anxious. Everyone's feeling, what's next? What do we expect from the world? What do we expect from ourselves? Who are we? And sure. I think this EP will help answer some of those questions, and we'll speak to people that are already on that journey and maybe open up a door for those who are, wondering how can they calm anxiety? How can they become more in touch with nature and the stars? Are aliens really out there? Are we aliens? Are we here to spread a message from the intergalactic, council? I don't know. You have to find out by listening to the EP.
I mean, I think it's really exciting. Cool. Like Aaron will tell you, I'm a huge fan of concept albums. Like, to me, I think when I think of concept albums, I think of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son from Iron Maiden. That's one of the all-timers. Yeah. I love albums that have a story because it kind of gets you to get more in tune, as you said, and ask the questions as opposed to just listening to the music. What is this music saying? What is this saying to me?
Music should be a guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't it be
thought-provoking?
Yeah.
One of my favorite concept albums is, I just figured I'll drop it because I know you guys are fans, Marilyn Manson, Mechanical Animals.
Oh, yes. And the
one
art,
of the best albums ever made.
And the art,
I agree 100%. That's Manson's masterpiece.
It is.
In my opinion.
That was when he reached his height at Mechanical Animals.
Wasn't that proof of him being an artist almost?
Yeah.
It's okay, the bullshit act of I'm the goth guy is over. It's kind of I'm an artist. That's really cool. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it was more Bowie than Alice Cooper at that point.
Yeah, there's another one.
We're on
Stardust
for sure.
And the art in that was gorgeous with the videos and everything. It was
of course, yeah.
Yep. Yep. And then, of course, we're Tool fans. So Lateralis is I mean, that to me is a book that you read inside of your head when you listen to. That's just so inspiring in the sense of
Don't forget the best one of all, Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh my gosh.
100%. Although I am partial to Dark Side.
And Dark Side of the Moon.
So that's me. So I'm with you. I like Dark Side Over the Wall. I'm a huge Floyd fan, by the way.
Me too.
Huge. But I'm the weirdo Dark Side.
You know what? Dark Side, I love them both. So it's like picking a favorite finger.
Exactly.
I mean, you're not going to get rid of one. But Dark Side to me is just like a journey through life from like birth to death.
Yeah.
And literally, if I'm ever just needing to meditate,
oh yeah,
I can lay down in a dark room and play Dark Side.
Absolutely.
And drift off onto this journey that like no other album can put me on.
Yeah, I only listen to like older music I don't listen to a lot of music these days because we're writing, so I don't like to listen to anything while I'm writing. But when I'm doing art or something, I like to do like classical violin, whatever. But if I put on like music with lyrics and all that, I like older music. So Floyd comes on the playlist a lot, and Dark Side songs are the Dark Side is like, to me, like, yeah,
they were so ahead of their time.
It's just wonderful musicians.
So
absolutely.
So call me a weirdo, but I actually like the Vision Bell. So maybe I'm the weirdo of the group, but like,
I still love you, Jay.
I know, but you can't forget an album like Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche. I mean, when it comes to concept,
that's a good concept album.
And they're another band that I think influenced a lot of genre. Obviously, they're progressive metal, but like they kind of spawn like some different sounds. So I even see that in you guys. Like I said, I see so much with you guys going on there. It's like, oh my God, it's like you cannot pigeonhole it.
Yeah, you can't pigeonhole it. That's for sure.
Because we just are such huge music fans our whole lives. I mean, music has been literally a part of my life since I can remember. And even when I went to college to study biology, there's nothing musical about that. And I still found a way to infuse it in my life where I would walk through the halls of the university with like my earbuds in and just like listen. I always tried to keep in touch with it. And he's just been on tour his whole life.
Yeah. Since
I don't know where I'd be or who I'd be without music. I mean, I always say I learned more from music than I ever learned in school. And here's the funny thing is, all the things I took for granted when I was in school, I started appreciating when I was out of school through music, and I went back and started wanting to learn all the stuff I didn't pay attention to when I was in high school from song lyrics.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to, I think when we started out, we were just trying to figure out a sound and work together, see how we could even make it work. That was all. Like, everything you've seen up to now was us just trying to figure out who the heck we were and what we wanted to do. Sure. It was almost like a beta mode, And Disclosure is going to be like, this is like truth. This is like us. This is like, what we want to sound like. This is not even what we want. This is what we sound like.
I'm so excited.
Especially
after this conversation we just had.
Sagan has arrived.
So ready.
Yes, we've arrived.
Seriously, we have.
We didn't have anyone to work with to say I don't like this or I don't like that.
Right.
We locked ourselves in the studio here.
For like a year, we've been just like
just started recording. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what is beautiful. I know everybody that's in a band is like that's coming up. It's like, I need to have a manager. I need to have this, and you actually don't. And I'll tell you why you don't, because that will influence everything. And it's not always.
It's not art for you anymore. It's art for a group of people with different opinions.
So when we broke away from that, I think it took a time of like, I started meditating really heavily. I always meditated, but never like really, really applied myself, I started really meditating, started really taking care of my inner self rather than just worrying about like the outside and, the diet. It's like, there's another whole part of that, And then we just started like, we locked ourselves in and we just started like playing our instruments, practicing all the things. Like I got my vocals like so refined. Like it's amazing to me because I was always just like hard on myself about my vocals and like so refined that it was just so easy. We just went in and these songs wrote themselves. They really did. It was just crazy the way it happened.
The greatest albums are written that way.
Yeah.
The songs just write themselves.
Yeah, there were like no obstacles in it. It was just like if everything flowed. Even with when we'd finish up a thing and Nick would go, okay, go write some lyrics to this. Because I write the lyrics to everything, I'd go out onto the hammock in the garden and it was just like flow. It was just like words would just start. It was just coming out. This song, the next song, I can't say too much about it because we haven't even started like promoting it yet or anything, but it's heavenly is all I'm going to say in so many ways that I just, when I was writing this, like I said, I don't know where this is coming from. Like, it's like something, it was like almost like I had tapped into something that was just like writing for me,
That's awesome.
It's called automatic writing, where like they do it where you can like just sit down and meditate and start and see what comes out of it. It's almost like
something just overtakes you and you're like,
yes.
It's just coming out from, you can't explain where it's coming from.
Yeah, and you're feeling it, and then he's like, check out this riff, and I'm like, oh my god, check this out, and we get the keyboard, and we were just in this flow, and it was like all the stuff was happening, and then we would finish it and send it off to Cole at Sightglass Sound and be like, all right, let's see what happens when it's mixed and mastered, because the song can sound good, but it really has to be polished up. They got to go in and.
You never want to mix your own music because you're burnt out from recording it. So you need to have a good mix and master.
Someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And when we would get those songs back, and I never did this with my own music. I would always kind of be like, well, I guess it's okay. I was always unsure. And I was like, oh my God, is that us? Is that us? Do we really sound like that? And so excited, and wow, like we did that. Like, that's so cool. And being proud of myself and not feeling bad about it, because I used to be one of those people where, if I say something nice about myself, it means I'm stuck on myself or something. Or, did you ever feel that way? Like, you ever feel that way? Like, almost like, if I give myself a compliment, it sounds like I'm stuck up or something.
Maybe, but I find it very inspirational that you've moved past that and that you're so proud of what you guys are doing. I think that's an inspiration.
Thank you.
I really do.
I can see it now. Like we worked our asses off to get to this point. We really did. We took a little break, but I don't know. Nick and I
we didn't really take a break though, because in between we were releasing singles.
Yeah, we did.
And we were learning.
That too.
I had to learn how to produce all of our stuff so that we could break away from producers and all that stuff.
Oh, and you know what else he learned to do, which was so amazing? Nick is so good at learning stuff. He's so smart. It's like, it's always just amazing to me how he can do anything. I seriously, like, if I ask Nick to build me something, he'll build it in like 5 minutes. It's up, and it's like you thought he used a schematic and he didn't. And he learned how to like put together our videos. Like, we didn't have to hire somebody to make the lyric videos. He did it.
I learned all of
the programs,
all of Adobe After Effects and Premiere in a week.
Wow.
So that we could record and do VFX and all that stuff.
We want to do a lyric video, but we want to do like 6 of them. For one thing, that can be really expensive. If you go out and get, hire someone, that's like a lot of money. Like, do 6 videos. You have to say, is it worth it? Are you gonna get a return on that? You never know with music. And so we were like, I think I was like making a salad one day, and I said to Nick, I was like, "No, you just figure out the software real quick." And he goes, "Well, we have a schedule for release," and he goes, "I don't know, that's a lot." And I was like, "You can do it." And I just kept chopping, and I was like, "You can do it." And within a week, we had like 2 videos almost completed.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And I was like, "Well, if we can do this, what else can we do?" And I was like, "Wow." I don't know. It was really cool. It's been fun. We've had so much fun. That's really the message I want to send is like, that's the most important thing, is to just enjoy what you do. Don't worry about what the outcome is going to be. Don't worry about like, any of that. It's just enjoy the moment, because you don't know if you're going to see it to the end. Who knows? We're not promised any time. Like you said in the beginning, all these people die, and it's like, you're just here for the time you're here. And so just life is just about like, this moment right here. This is it. We're living it right now. What we're doing.
100%.
And so it's like, you have to enjoy it. And I think Nick and I had that perspective too, is we're just going to start enjoying this stuff. We're not going to take it seriously. We don't care about fame. We don't care about any of it. It's like, we really just want to enjoy making it, and we hope people enjoy listening to it. And that's the whole thing. And anything else is just a bonus,
And, to have gotten to that point and to feel that way, it's got to be liberating.
It is.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally got to put the guitar parts that I want in our songs and have my own influences and all that.
And like not care, right?
Yep, and it sounds way better than anything we've ever done. So we're doing it the right way.
And someone like wrote to me recently and was like, why aren't you signed to a label? I'm like, first of all, we already did that. Second of all, I'm not saying we're 100% against it if the right deal came along, but it's just that we're not ready to sell out to something that isn't right. We don't want to sell out at all, honestly. To me, it would have to be something that was a passion that someone shared with us that could be part of, and that just hasn't happened.
They shared your vision.
Yeah, and that hasn't happened yet. And I'm not going to take something just for the name of it, or I'm not going to take something just for the clout. I don't care. I don't give a shit about clout. And so it's like, I think Nick and I decided that we just want to have a good time. We don't really care. So we don't have a goal for any of this, honestly, guys. It's just, we're just making the stuff and throwing it out there and go, here, have a gift, have fun. And then, we're going to keep doing it. By the way, this 6-song EP concept is half of another concept. So it's going to go into the next EP, which is also, so you're going to have, this is going to be like a 2-part thing.
Wow.
So it goes on and on and on.
That's awesome. Anyway, before we let you guys go tonight, the show is called Sports and Metal. So, are you guys sports fans?
We are.
Yes.
We have to ask. So, do you have any favorite teams?
Well, we like hockey.
Yes.
Okay.
So with the Golden
The
Knights.
Knights, yeah. Go Knights.
Yeah.
I know backstage Sagan, you told us a little bit about something at Yankee Stadium.
Okay, so we've been sober for 6 years now. We stopped drinking 6 years ago. We just aren't good at it. And I'll tell you.
Are any of us really good at it?
No, but we're like especially bad at it. I mean, Nick and I together with alcohol, we will go. It was like shenanigans.
I got some stories about Jay. No.
But like fun
We used to terrorize the Hollywood strip.
Yeah, we terrorized the Hollywood strip.
More than like Motley Crue.
Yeah, we were bad.
And Guns N' Roses.
And not only that, but we didn't know how to like stop. It wasn't that we had like any alcohol. Maybe that's alcoholism. I don't know. It probably is. But we were just like, we would just people would buy us drinks and they would just keep buying them for us and we wouldn't say no. And it was just like at the end of the night,
all of a sudden
we'd wake up in a party where there was like a bottle of whiskey going around, like communal, and we were drinking out of it. And I would just like, I would be on the side of the road on the way back puking. And so that's telling you up to this point. So
then we got kicked out of the bar for playing 80s music.
We did. We put 80s hair music in the jukebox.
Nonstop.
They threw us out for listening to like Winger and shit like that.
I wouldn't have thrown you out for that. I'd be buying you drinks.
You can't listen to this.
If you play Winger one more time.
Yeah, or it was like Guns N' Roses, November Rain.
November Rain. If that happened at the Rainbow, I want to speak to the owner.
I don't think they would care there, but this bar, whatever it was, they did not want it, and they told us to leave. So when I went to Yankee Stadium years prior, I've been there a few times to watch the Yankees, and it's a fun, it's always a fun thing. But I can't remember what it's called, and I want to say it's called Stan's, but I could be getting that wrong because it was 100 years ago. Okay. There's a bar across the street from the stadium where people go to pregame. And so you have to wait till they let you in when you're a ticket holder. So everybody went over. I'm calling it Stan's. It's probably wrong. Y'all from New York are going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? But that's what my memory is telling me. So whatever.
I'm a Mets fan, so I don't remember the bars across from Yankee Stadium.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was called Stan's. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry, New York.
That's okay.
And it was a really long time ago. So maybe it's not even there anymore. But I was just like, either not old enough to drink or barely. I don't know. I was always getting into places when I shouldn't. I told you I was bad. Well, anyway, we were pre-gaming at that bar, and I drank too much beer. They were giving us these cups of beer, like this huge, it's a fucking cup of beer. And I was just gulping them down like, beer, baseball. Oh, yeah, Yankees. And then we got to the stadium, and I was fucking trashed. And we found our seats, and we were like in the middle somewhere. It was a pretty big drop. I know I fell at one point, and then I puked everywhere. I was just throwing up. They threw us out of the. I think the usher came and was like, "You gotta get out of here." I was throwing up everywhere. Then I threw up in a cab. Then on the way back, I threw up on the side of the road. It was just like nonstop vomiting. And I think isn't that what happened the last time we got drunk?
Yep, pretty much.
So we basically said we were never going to drink ever again, and we held ourselves to that.
And we haven't.
I'm proud of you guys. There's been a lot of times I fêtre like shit, and I'm like, I'm never going to drink again. And then 48 hours later, I'm drinking again.
I think what did it was like I'm pretty sure we had alcohol poisoning. And I called my mom crying, and I think she laughed at me. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure she was giggling, like, what the heck? And
it was bad.
He was like on the bed with his head down and his butt up and his legs for like 2 hours.
Oh, jeez.
And then somebody threw up in a bowl, and then he stepped in it.
And then, and then I was too drunk to take my sock off.
Yeah.
And then I was full of puke.
It was really bad, guys. So we made a pact with each other, right? We were just like,
no more.
This is the end of this for us. We're gonna just not do this ever again. We're gonna just focus on music and having fun the sober way. So we are sober, but we still love sports. We love Nick and I are really big fans of virtual reality. We're on the Oculus Meta Quest 2 thing. It's like the headset you put on. We play golf in there. We love playing golf. We also shoot zombies. That's kind of a sport, by the way.
Yeah, definitely a sport these days.
It's a sport. I believe that it is because, it takes skill. When those hordes of zombies are coming at you, like we have to strategize and stuff, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. There's nothing like zombie paintball on Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you do?
There's a year-round zombie paintball in Vegas, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Awesome. So, but we like to I'll play we play Top Golf. Like, there's a Golf Plus game, so you can go out on the golf course and just play like regular golf. You can also do mini golf, or you can go to Top Golf. It's like, I guess, their pro like pack or whatever. And you just go up and you're like in there's a bar there, and you can listen to a music playlist, and you can just shoot balls out on the range and
it's like so realistic.
It is. So we do that. We do that a lot. And just, then, the fun stuff like bowling.
Awesome. Hey, nothing wrong with bowling. Listen, we got a couple minutes left here, guys, and I have to ask, what are your plans for touring in the upcoming year? And are we going to be able to see you on the East Coast?
So we are not saying yes or no yet because we're focused on releasing right now. We kind of need everyone to hear the new music, so then we can go rock out, So we definitely are discussing like a bunch of different plans for that, and for some live shows in virtual reality, live shows online. We're going to try to mix in as much as we can so that, y'all aren't hanging, waiting for us to do something, So we're keeping an open mind to everything.
Well, all I could say is if you do decide to tour, I hope you guys come to Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So we
defense.
No, well, that's in Clifton.
Yeah.
You might have to come. Do you guys have a venue that like in that area, or where's the nearest?
Oh,
yeah,
one venue that you guys would be perfect in is Starland Ballroom.
Oh yeah, Starland. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm 10 minutes from Starland.
Or Vineland.
Yeah, Vineland, Landis Theater.
Landis Theater.
Yeah, the Starland.
So we played at Dingbats in Clifton last time.
Oh, yeah, I know Dingbats. I know that's where Eddie Trunk always has his annual Metal Show party.
We had a really great show there. It was really fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, those guys are awesome.
We had a really awesome time, and my parents were working the merch booth that night.
Yeah,
because they live in New Jersey.
Where in Jersey do they live?
They're down the shore. They're like,
okay.
Yeah,
that was more entertaining than the show.
That was
watching them slinging merch.
Yeah, because my parents are like, up there slinging the merch, like. They did.
Wearing the shirts?
They were wearing. They did a really good job. And when we were on tour with Mushroom Head, they came out and helped us with the merch. I think it was in somewhere in PA. It was like Allentown or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and they came to that, and they were like out at the merch booth talking to people. They had a really good time. So
Awesome. if I get back out to Vegas anytime soon, I'll check you guys out too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely keep us posted with any touring plans, anything like that. And then also message us so we can maybe see about sending you guys some Sports and Metal t-shirts. Hopefully you can wear it
for sure.
Awesome.
on some of your videos or
We'll send
socials.
you guys some stuff too. We'll just like exchange some stuff back.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, we want to thank you again for coming on the show. Once again, guys, please give a big warm welcome and thank you to Hal Sagan for joining the Sports Metal podcast tonight. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to La Terrain. Make sure you visit their website, www.la-tourane.com. Use our promo code S&M. Save 10% off your purchase at checkout. Check out BetUS. Use our affiliate link. You can see it on the screen. You're going to get 125% bonus on your first $100 deposit. And make sure to check out our website, sportsandmetal.com. You can see it there on the bottom. You get your fix on all things sports and metal. As always, this is Aaron Savage and Jason Voorhees saying rock on, and thanks again, Hal Sagan.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Thanks for coming on, guys. Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
Rock on.
And that's our show. Tune in next time for more Sports and Metal with Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage. Woo, yeah! Got something to say? Hit us up at sportsandmetal0423 at yahoo.com or on Twitter at